And if you're looking for a jamming good time, you're at the right place at the right time. Inside the pages of Jamaica Magazine, thanks for joining us. In today's edition, some nostalgic niceness as schools across the island celebrate Jamaica Day. We also take on a serious issue, human trafficking. Wait till you hear what happened to a young Jamaican teen. I'm Adrian Atkinson. The only thing you should be adjusting is the volume as we kickstart the weekend together.
Know your numbers and control the keys to a healthier heart. Know the numbers for your blood pressure, cholesterol level, blood glucose level, and your weight and body mass index. Find out the risks they represent and what you need to do to stay healthy. Talk to your doctor and start making healthy lifestyle choices to prevent a heart attack or stroke.
Good day, I'm Stacey Ann Smith, and this is your JIS News for Friday, February 28. The planned privatization of the Kingston Container Terminal KCT through a long-term concession agreement with a preferred bidder is on target. Transport and Works Minister Dr. Omar Davies told Parliament Tuesday that bidders had been provided with a draft concession agreement. Officials from one bidder, the Port Authority of Singapore, were in the island this week, meeting KCT management and conducting site visits.
The Port Authority of Singapore team will return on March 10th to begin a detailed technical assessment of the KCT facilities. Similar visits are scheduled for the other bidders. Dubai Port World is scheduled from March 17 to 18, and the CMA CGM Consortium is scheduled from March 19 to 21.
Dr. Davies says bids are to be returned on May 22, 2014, and the evaluation should be completed by June 20.
After which a provisional bidder will be selected by the commencement of negotiations of the concession agreement.
Negotiations are expected to be completed by September of this year. The privatization of the KCT supports government's plans for the Jamaica Logistics Hub. Prime Minister Portia Simpson-Miller is encouraging Jamaicans to become qualified and ready to take advantage of existing opportunities in the job market and those expected from upcoming investments. Mrs. Simpson-Miller was addressing the 10th anniversary award ceremony for the Community Training for Empowerment Program CTEP held recently in Montego Bay.
Because as a government, we are serious about human resource development and resolute about increasing the training and skill levels of our people. The CTEP program is a fine example of what we need in every community throughout Jamaica to actualize the economic revolution that is needed for growth, for development, and certainly for prosperity.
In the last 10 years, CTEP has trained more than 1,000 residents of the South St. James constituency for jobs in the hospitality industry. Zinc fences are now a thing of the past in the southwest St. Andrew community of Greenwich Town, thanks to a $6.7 million project of the Jamaica Social Investment Fund. JSAFE erected 291 meters of UPVC fencing and installed 27 pedestrian gates in the community. At Wednesday's official unveiling ceremony, Prime Minister Portia Simpson-Miller told recipients the infrastructure was theirs to protect.
It is yours, and I'm going to ask you that we keep the fence looking as good as it is today.
Community members contributed 25% of the construction cost through sweat equity. Tourism Minister Dr. Wickham McNeil leaves the island Sunday for Berlin, where he'll attend the International Tourism Exchange.
ITB Berlin is the largest tourism trade show in the world and is a prime marketplace and driving force behind the international tourism industry. The event showcases hotels, tourist boards, tour operators, airlines, among others related to the travel industry.
Dr. McNeil will also hold meetings in London with tour operators and other strategic partners. The tourism minister returns to the island on March 7. Principals and guidance counselors from 95 schools are to be trained in effective restorative justice practices on March 3 and 4. Justice Minister Senator Mark Golding says the aim is to help build positive school communities and reduce antisocial behavior in youth, which should result in lower levels of suspension or expulsion of students due to violence.
It takes committed and vested citizenry, as well as civil society, non-governmental organizations, the church and others, finding their respective roles in the process of reconciliation and peace. Restorative justice provides an avenue for the effective inclusion of all these in dealing with crime and mitigating the adverse aftermath of offending.
Minister Golding was speaking at a recent graduation ceremony for 60 restorative justice facilitators. The graduates completed a 2-month training course on areas such as introduction to the criminal justice system in Jamaica, communication and conflict management, and code of ethics for restorative justice facilitators. And finally, a veil of sadness covered the Norman Manley International Airport as the plane carrying the body of 18-year-old St. Jago High School athlete Kavon Mackenzie touched down on the tarmac. Mackenzie collapsed and later died after competing at the North American, Central American and Caribbean Athletic Association Cross-Country Championships in Tobago on Saturday. Prime Minister Portia Simpson Miller and members of Kavon's family gathered at the airport Thursday to receive his body.
It's really very sad for us, and I can understand the grief of the parents at this time. On behalf of the government and people of Jamaica, that he represented so well, we want to extend to his mom and dad and members of the family our condolences.
Government has assumed the cost of funeral arrangements and has been providing counseling support for members of Kavon's family.
I know he die and support his country. Because he always have his dream, say, Mommy, I'm doing this for you because I'm going to buy a big house for you. I'm going to make it be happy and make it be all right.
While the Trinidad and Tobago government carries out its tests, Prime Minister Simpson Miller says Jamaica will be looking at its own scientific tests to determine a cause of death. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Stacey Ann Smith. Thank you for watching.
Motorists, know your rights as road users. If you're stopped by the police in a road check, the police have the right to ask for your driver's license and vehicle documents. If you don't have the documents on you, you can ask for 5 days to provide them at a convenient police station. If you don't have vehicle insurance, you can be prosecuted and face the court. If you fail to renew the registration license, the police are entitled to seize your vehicle. If the police wish to search your vehicle, they should tell you the reasonable grounds for wanting the search. If you are given a ticket, sign it only if you plan to pay the fine and not contest the charge in court. And please be reminded, children under 18 years must wear a seatbelt, even if they are seated in the back. Know your rights. Knowledge of the traffic road code makes it easier to work with the police as they do their job to make the road safer for you and everyone else.
Young people fall victim to all kinds of abuse and crimes, including human trafficking. Local authorities have been doing more to educate the youth about human trafficking, taking the message to schools. We stopped in a Trench Town High where the students were given some cold, hard facts.
There comes a time when we heed a certain call, when the world must come together as one. There are people dying. Oh, when it's time to lend a hand to life, the greatest gift of all.
What do you know about human trafficking? Do you know that there are cases of this modern-day slavery even here in Jamaica? Welcome to another week of School Zone. I'm Tamara McHale. Today we come from the Trench Town High School giving you highlights of a trafficking in person seminar put on by the Ministry of Justice in partnership with the Kiwanis Club of New Kingston. Promises to be quite informative. Stay with me.
Picture this. A 16-year-old Jamaican girl, Christian all her life, graduated from school. She wanted a job, like many of us. What did she do? She looked in the classified advertisement. She found it, a job, an accountant. She qualified for the job overseas, in a foreign country. She saw a number, a telephone number, attached to the advertisement. She gladly called the number. It was answered on second ring. The person who answered was a female. The person told her to meet her in Halfway Tree at the bus park. They met. They discussed. She immediately got the job. She didn't have a passport, so she was assisted by the female to procure the passport on emergency. She was assisted also with the plane ticket to fly. Her brother gave her $30,000 Jamaican in support of the travel overseas. They were supposed to have left Jamaica within the week of getting the passport. She spoke to her mother on the morning of travel. She said, "Mommy, me no feel like go." Guess what Mommy told her? "Girl, galang, you know, see the whole house one fix." When she reached immigration, because she was accompanied by the person who employed her, when she reached immigration in that foreign country, she was told what to tell the immigration officer. Do you want me to tell you what they told her to tell the immigration? She was actually told to tell immigration that she was there on vacation for 2 weeks only. Remember, she knew she wanted a job and had gotten the job. Actually, she got 6 months in the country. When she left immigration, she was escorted through a side door in that airport, and she was placed in an aircraft. Why? Because the persons who employed her owns aircrafts. Whilst airborne though, she was given 6 pairs of lingerie. You understand that, correct? And said, "Sister, the work, the accountant work that you came for is not up here. Instead, guess what? You have to sell sex."
We'll check back to hear how this girl's story turned out. More than 200 students of Trenchtown High listened keenly to that harrowing tale at their school seminar. They, along with parents, teachers, civic members, and government representatives, including the police, confronted the complex and dangerous issue head-on.
Human trafficking is an issue that affects every single person who is alive. It is a problem that destroys the lives of its victims and their families and communities.
It is viewed as something that happens overseas, mainly outside the Caribbean, and we refuse to believe that such horrendous activities could be perpetrated against our citizens, and even worse, against our children.
Human trafficking affects men, women, and children. Victims are often forced into prostitution or hard labor and are exploited and abused while deprived of basic rights, most of all their freedom. Lured usually into this unknowingly, often through promises of job opportunities and a better life.
Always a better life.
They operate on poverty. The crime is worth on an annual basis US $32 billion. It's the most underreported crime in the world.
Christ feed the multitude with only one loaf of bread. Poor people, there is something for you. Don't let the pressures of the system get upon your head. Poor people, there is something for you.
The Office of the Children's Registry was also on hand to ensure students knew what to look out for. You ever hear? Prevention better than cure?
Written in the book of life, we shall live forevermore.
What if you have a friend that have a big yard and have a daughter, and that daughter has a cousin that you don't really know will hurt her, but you have a suspicion about it?
You made a report. We don't need you to establish that it's human trafficking. That's for the police, okay? So you will tell that information to whomever you trust. Call 1-888-PROTECT, right? Or just tell somebody who you trust, and the investigation will be done.
When advertisements for overseas work appear in the media, The task force calls and check them out, or they just wait until an abuse is happened?
Before they start any such recruitment, they need to get the permission of the Ministry of Labor and Social Security.
We have a multi-agency approach to investigating human trafficking. So we know that the Ministry of Labor has investigators as well. But at the police level, our job is to do a proactive policing approach. So what we do, once the advertisements have landed fresh off the press, our investigations would have started. But as you are aware, there are also advertisements online, meaning on Facebook, Twitter, etc. We do police some of that, but the local ones, we have a handle on it.
So be careful when seeking a job, and in this age of social media, don't post everything online.
The government of Jamaica, having accepted that this exists in Jamaica, and it has crippling effects on our people. So the task force was established, and we have several strategies and things that we do to tackle the monster.
Speaking of tackling the monster, remember our 16-year-old friend who got tricked into selling sex instead of the accountant work? What happened to her?
She was taken to a go-go club, and there were criminal gunmen watching her every move. Her passport was taken from her and other travel documents. Her cell phone was removed from her. And she had to sell sex. Upon selling the fourth sex, a good Samaritan came in to purchase sex, but fell in love with her because she's really attractive. And what did he do? He smuggled her through the back door in the club into police station. And because of that good venture, she led police to rescue 2 other Jamaicans. Now, could that happen to any of us? Too easy.
This could happen to anyone. And your biggest weapon is to be aware.
We found the seminar quite useful because most of our students are from the inner city, and so you find that they're actually from backgrounds of low socioeconomic status. And you find that these are the children that are targeted for human trafficking, students who are in economic need, and so, you know, it's important as a part of their education for this social awareness.
I thought that they gave a lot of good examples about this human trafficking, and that it's affecting students and young people that just come out of school and all of that. And I believe that we should be more aware about our surroundings and what is really happening to us.
Remember, if you have queries about employment adverts that you see or opportunities to work abroad, contact the Ministry of Labor at 922-9500-14. Children, if you are walking on the road and somebody comes and tries to grab you, scream for help, murder, and run. The penalty for those caught trafficking in persons is up to 20 years in prison and or a fine determined by the court. And if you or a child you know is being abused or being lured into trafficking, report it to the Office of the Children's Registry at 1-888-PROTECT. That is 1-888-776-8328.
Trust you found this episode of School Zone to be quite enlightening. I know I have. Together, let us care and protect to fight human trafficking. Till next time, I'm Tamara McHale for School Zone.
I find out that this program is a very good program because the purpose of this program is to target inner city youths that drop out of school, never get to make much of themselves. So this is like a second chance.
It's a good look and they need to try it. They need to try it because that is the way right now I'm seeing true life, because going to angle gun the other way, it not make no sense. You're gonna die.
What I'd have to say to the younger folks youths like me in the inner city, I will tell them that gangs are dead end, and right now, them for leg off of the negative energy and try to make something of themselves, try apply themselves as a better man in society, so them can be able to provide for them youths and them family without have to do anything illegal or police have to look for them or nothing like that.
The Citizen Security and Justice Program, CSJP, an initiative of the Ministry of National Security, empowering unattached youth in volatile communities while promoting peace-building initiatives.
Let's celebrate Jamaica to the world. Fastest man in the world. First Jamaican woman to win gold in Olympic 100-meter sprint. An upcoming global superstar. Mouth-watering meals. And a vibrant set of people. We are Jamaicans. Let's get together and bring back the love.
Schools across the country had a wonderful time today as they celebrated Jamaica Day. Most schools follow the theme Celebrating Jamaica, Sporting Greatness in My Community. Now, over the years, Jamaica Day has brought out the creativity of our students and teachers. Take 2012, for example. Celebrations that year were nothing less than spectacular.
Hips were swinging, vibing to the harmony infused in sweet, soul-stirring Jamaican music. Talk about making a fashion statement. Finger-licking goodness. And the talent and the skills to match. It's time to celebrate the black, green, and gold. Out of many, we are one people. It's Jamaica Day at the island's primary and secondary schools, but some couldn't resist the urge to take it to the streets. The message is simple.
In all schools, we should celebrate who we are. A people largely of African origin, but with all kind of mixed races. A people striving with good ambition.
Our culture is important to us. Our children need to know who we are, where we're coming from, and where we're going.
And what a history lesson it was. Belfield Primary in St. Mary was firmly grounded in the present, but enthusiastically paid homage to the things of the past.
Today we are showcasing all the different artifacts from the various ethnic groups, as well as their cuisine and so on.
Coal pot with wood fire, bags and bowls from calabash, grinder, lanterns, coconut brush to shine the floor, and more.
For those of you young people who don't understand how far we're coming from as Jamaicans, believe it or not, this is an iron, a coal iron. You open it, put your coal in it, and when it's heated, you iron your clothes and you're good to go.
But it's not only about artifacts. There were gastronomical delights galore, enough to eat till your belly busts.
I'm cooking pakasa and blue jars.
Paka what?
Pakasa.
What's that?
Get the coconut and peel the food and cook it down in it.
Pumpkin takari, curry jackfruit, kamanga, mango takari, Irish takari, curry chicken and rice.
All right, and where all these food come from?
India.
Oh, and who taught you that?
My teacher. I'm wearing the robe from the Baba Shanti group.
These earrings are made by a Rasta man who produces just Rasta jewelry. Like to look natural.
JIS eagerly shared in the Jamaican experience at Belfield Primary.
Jackson, on behalf of the JIS, we're handing over this poster and some Jamaican heritage material for the school.
The students also had a chance to get goodies cataloging some fun facts about Jamaica. All they had to do was watch JIS's special feature, My Country Jamaica, and give the correct answers to the questions.
Who is the fastest man in the world?
Usain Bolt.
All right, is he correct?
Yes!
So clap him now, give a clap, man. All right, so tell me two of Jamaica's national heroes.
Marcus Garvey and George William Garvey.
Is she correct?
Yes!
All right.
The JIS camera team also set up shop in the West, the Howard Cook Primary School to be exact. And where actuality was missing, a handmade replica worked as a perfect substitute.
I think we teach culture in every subject, whether we like it or not. But we should be much more explicit about it. And that's what Jamaica Day is.
So many of our youngsters these days have lost the true value and meaning of what it means to be Jamaican.
For the whole long month of August, independence was in prime. Everything was independence thing. Run independence time. Independence pen and pencil. Cup and saucer, glass and tray. Down to independence, baby born for independence day.
Back in Kingston, over at Alvernia Preparatory, it's all about Jamaica's culture through dance, poems, and song.
About Jamaica Day, the colors I get to see and the songs I get to listen to.
It's nice and educational and help you learn about your national heroes and the prime ministers.
I like that I learn more about Jamaican history.
What did you learn?
That Rita Marley was Bob Marley's wife. That we just learn about a lot of interesting facts about Jamaica, such as that we got our independence 1962.
The tiny tots at the Bethel United Basic School also turn up their Jamaica Day celebrations. Do these notes ring a bell? Oh yes, the 20, 10, 5, 2 and $1 were notes before they turned coins. But it was the traditional games that stole the spotlight at Halfway Tree Primary. Dandy shandy, skipping, kite flying, and not to mention 1, 2, 3 red light.
Not only do we thrive on the technological advancement, the games that are being sold in the stores, but they need to relish the games that were once played, and these games were able to bring about social interaction.
I like the games, and well, we get closer to our ancestors, knowing our heritage.
So schools across the island have been celebrating all things Jamaican.
A message from the Bureau of Gender Affairs and the Dispute Resolution Foundation, paid for by the UN Women Fund for Gender Equality.
And that's how we close the pages of Jamaica Magazine for this Friday. Thanks for spending time with us. Let's keep the connection going. Send feedback to Jamaica Magazine at jis.gov.jm. Follow us on Twitter at JIS News and visit our website, jis.gov.jm. I'm Adrian Atkinson. Have yourselves a great weekend.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.